Wow. What's up, guys? How are doshas today? Sorry. God, I have the best meme. You'll know within 3 weeks if it works or not. All right. Okay.
Have you ever done a sober stream, brother? Have you?
Okay. When Donald Trump was just like, Kamala's like, JD said that you do this, and Trump's like, I don't talk to JD Vance. I don't know what the that is. I don't talk to this mother. Whatever the he's saying, he's on some wild shit. Ooh. Okay. We have some good Adam and Sitch copium.
Don't think it's going to help her. I don't think it's going to help her. I think you're going to see the polls either kind of stay around the same or slightly keep going in Trump's favor. That'd be my prediction.
Yeah, I think it might be over.
Really?
Yeah, she's been trending downward in the polls. People have kind of been waiting for this moment. There was a bunch of polling. I think it was as much as a third of undecided voters were like, wanted more information about Kamala Harris. I don't know that those people walk away from this debate thinking, oh yeah, I know Kamala's policies now, and I can compare them adequately to Trump. And the imposter syndrome vibe, I just think really hurts with the general public. So,
What does he think imposter syndrome means?
I think you're right. Well, there was so little policy discussed in this debate. It was pretty surprising.
And that's what people want to know. They're like, look, we had Trump. The economy was pretty good. Like, pitch me something that's going to be better than the Trump economy. That's what they're thinking. And I don't think she did.
Are these people retarded or just bad faith? They're both retarded in different ways. Adam, I think, is brain broken because he's like fought with too many progressives, so he's been brain broken now, like over Trump. Like he just will always support Trump no matter what. He's fucking retarded. And Sitch is retarded for putting up with it so much and like hitching his wagon to Adam so much without ever being able to call him out or rein him in or do anything about it. So yeah.
To Monday morning quarterback this, what would have been effective for Kamala would have been to her every time like Trump does like rhetoric or attacks her, she should have been like, she should have been like Andrew Yang. I have a plan, and she kind of explains it briefly or gives a summary like, I have a plan and we're gonna do like this for like, and we're gonna help Americans.
Like when she said we're gonna expand the child tax credit to $6,000, we're gonna do a $50,000 tax deduction for small businesses, or we're gonna give a $25,000 home buyer first time credit or whatever, like that. Or
you can see Donald Trump doesn't have any plans. All he just says is that he's gonna fix everything and he tax me, right? Like just make Trump does like rhetoric or attacks her. She should have been like, she should have been like Andrew Yang. I have a plan.
Why would you say she should model herself after Andrew Yang?
And she kind of explains it briefly or gives a summary like, I have a plan and we're gonna do like this for like, and we're gonna help Americans. And you can see Donald Trump doesn't have any plans. All he just says is that he's gonna fix everything and he tax me, right? Like just make him look like an empty suit. But she just looks like an empty suit. And she's like kind of playing, like she's like playing his game of rhetoric and just losing at it completely.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. She's trying to do the vague, strong bluster. But I think that's part of the reason why it comes off as imposter syndrome.
Right.
Does she? She literally is an imposter.
Well, no, because like Trump does the vague, strong bluster, but he sells it. Like he has the
Well,
confidence
it's
to sell
him.
it.
Yeah, it's completely authentic on him.
Hmm.
I don't think it's authentic on her though.
Right. So.
Okay. Damn, even Piers Morgan. Wow, Kamala Harris won that debate comfortably. Trump was unusually flat and very repetitive. Harris was nervous to start, but grew increasingly confident. He didn't seem to know how to handle her. Big win for Kamala. Wasn't expecting that. Could be an election game changer. What? Did you see the newest upload on the Aegon channel? It's an 8-hour documentary entirely made by AI. Yeah, it was linked a while ago.
They must conduct the necessary investigation, collect evidence of illegal activity, and only after that should all...
You're saying this guy's not real?
They intentionally introduce the concepts of destructive cults and totalitarian sects into the information space, using them to incite hatred and religious intolerance in society. The criteria and accusations they use to classify certain organizations as cults and sects, and they rely on them even now. During the rise of Nazism, the anti-cultists instilled in Hitler and his henchmen the belief that only through fear could they conquer the world and win people's love, that it was the fastest and most effective way to gain total power, and so it happened. One of the main methods the Nazis resorted to at that time was genocide of individual dissenting groups and of entire nations. And if you closely examine the history of humanity, it becomes clear that genocide has always been a tool to strengthen the power of those who stand at the root of the modern form of anti-cultism. Now, let's recall where it all started during the Nazi era and draw a parallel to how the anti-cultists operate now. Nazis, at the instigation of their anti-cultist advisors, acted in a planned and systematic manner, preparing public opinion through propaganda.
Simply epic. Such a crazy line. Why don't you call it the bloodbath lie from Kamala last night? It's one of the worst ones from Dems. What is the bloodbath lie?
And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President,
bullshit. What she's fact-checking? It happened in Virginia. And by the way, the Infants Born Alive Act in Illinois, Barack Obama voted against it.
Donald Trump.
The bigger point is her fact-checking him.
3 members of the United States Supreme Court.
Why are they fact-checking? Not fair.
And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch.
Should I? No, not good. Stop. Don't. That's not funny. I'm sorry. That's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. I'm not tweeting that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. God damn it. I'm just trying to think. Do I want half my next Piers Morgan episode to be defending this tweet? No, fuck it. Elon, what's wrong with you? Holy Christ, this is fucking weird and creepy. Why? What's the best way to promote liberal ideas when it seems both sides hate liberalism? I think we're so close from people like Hassan endorsing Trump because he prefers fascism to liberalism, e.g. Ukraine versus Russia. Listen, just champion the center left, okay? We're taking over. We're doing okay, all right? I hope. I'm arguing with people on whether or not this clip during the debate is Trump accusing Harris of putting out.
Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking...
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was...
No, he means that she, like, put it out. Not, he doesn't, that wasn't like a sex joke at all. He just means that she put out that she was black.
How come you don't like Sneeko?
Oh, he's a piece of shit. You like him?
Yes. How come you don't like Palestine?
I like Palestine.
No, you don't.
Why do you say that?
Because, bro, you're... wasn't she in the IDF?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
Mandatory service.
That's sad. That's terrorism, bro.
She was born there.
That's sad. Feel bad for you guys. Ethan Klein, bro, you're ugly as fuck, bro. You're ugly as shit. You look like a rapist, bro.
Look in the fucking...
You look like a fucking rapist, Ethan.
Why would you post this? Okay. The response to this was so dumb.
If I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D., and I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans.
When I was talking to that one guy last night, I actually can't tell. I don't know if people know what Roe or Casey was about. And I might have even used this phrase before, and I shouldn't have because I didn't think people could interpret it so stupidly. Roe v. Wade or Dobbs didn't send abortion back to the states. It didn't do that. It sent it to the legislature. Now, the federal legislature, the Congress, is probably not going to act, so it's going to go to the state legislatures. They'll probably be the ones to act, which is what's been happening. But it wasn't like Roe and Casey was not, these were not federal bills. This wasn't like federal legislation, and then they got overturned, and now states can do it. It just, Roe and Casey, I haven't read these full cases, and this is like some hardcore constitutional theory to make these work. But essentially, I believe Roe outlined this idea of a right to privacy, meaning that you couldn't ban abortion because it'd be unconstitutional, essentially. And the right to privacy is like, it's a constructed right through inferencing from other parts of the Constitution. But that's what Roe and Casey, I think, kind of like ironed it out more, gave more guidelines to it, basically. When Roe and Casey got tossed or overturned, all that means now is you no longer have that implied right, at least insofar as abortion is concerned, which means that legislatures, whether it's state legislatures or the federal legislature, can make laws about it. When Donald Trump, and then when that guy last night I was talking to, when he was saying sent it back to the states, I think people think that Roe or Casey was like a law, and it got overturned, and now the states can pass a law about it.
Hey,
that's what
just
horses
to give
eat.
Oh, sorry. You there?
Yeah.
Just to give you a quick background on Roe v. Wade, it actually comes from a case in the 50s called Connecticut v. Griswold, which happened to deal with contraception and access to contraception for married couples. And so that's where that whole privacy argument came from, which is the idea that married couples can decide when and how they want to have their children, because Connecticut had a law in the books back at the time that said that if you were a married couple, you could not get contraception because they were worried about children, feeding outside the marriage, essentially. So they were trying to say that the health decisions and when and where to have a child was a privacy right for that couple. And then it just kind of evolved from there eventually into Roe v. Wade.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, I love you. Be careful.
Take it easy.
Does that mean that the people of the state don't vote if they want abortion or not? Well, with Roe and Casey, you just couldn't outlaw abortion. You couldn't make laws against it like that. You could try to nibble around the edges or whatever. Like I think in some states they were making it so you like had to watch a video of your fetus before you abort or whatever. But that was the point of Roe and Casey. But once those got tossed, now states can make laws against it if they so desire. But it seems like people legitimately thought in that space last night. It seems like people think that the federal government couldn't pass a ban on abortion. If state governments can, the federal government can.
Was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
The people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme.
My dog.
Jesus. Why did you, in your debate with Andrew, define insurrection as it was understood from the framers' 14th Amendment, but yet you think the Constitution is a living one, and decisions like Obergefell and Roe was correct? Surely, if you were consistent, you would also define things like equal protection and privacy as understood in 1868. That question is kind of meaningless. Also, the idea that there's some strict line between living document and originalism or textualism is pure and utter bullshit. When you read the text, when the text is clear, when the text isn't clear, you go to history. When the history is not clear, then we get our magic hat out and we start pulling rabbits out. I think everybody borrows from both ideas depending on what they're interpreting, which we've seen with this court at least. Why do conservatives now use the talking point that Kamala is currently president? I thought it was a meme, but they seem to unironically believe it. Well, one of the things you can capitalize on if you're Trump is your voter base is stupid. You can literally say anything. Because nobody understands civics or knows what's going on. Like, how many questions last night did I get in that Twitter space where people were like, why doesn't Kamala do it now? Like, what do you mean? She's the vice president. What's she supposed to do? Was she going to do anything when she is president? Well, yeah, hopefully there's like a new Congress or everything. Oh, so the president doesn't do anything. It's just Congress. Like, well, okay. How do you even make an argument for something like watching footage of your fetus? I know it's a thing that happened, but it feels hard to imagine how that could even manifest a discussion. It feels like an inherent concession. Well, the whole point is to make the woman feel so guilty and upset that she doesn't want to have an abortion because now she sees it on video.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in.
That Andre person is 100% intentionally misinforming people on how the executive works. Yeah, I also hate the... I didn't like him, but somebody that I hated more was that second guy he sounded like some Silicon Valley tech bro. I don't know if like more tech bros are becoming weirdly Trump, or if that's just like a perception that I'm falsely getting on Twitter. But when people come in, they're like, yeah, I really don't know anything about how any of this works. And like, here's just like a question. And I'm about to ask you the most partisan hack fuck questions imaginable while pretending I really don't have any opinions about anything. And here's a source from Stephen from louderwithcrowder.com. And it's like, okay, kind of weird.
And they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
He was a griper. LOL, check his Twitter. Oh, okay.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
You've seen Republicans now saying Kamala was wearing an earpiece and was being fed talking points. Like, I see that, but the people were saying that Kamala was fed the questions beforehand, but the like 4 things they talked about were things that have been in the media for a month at least. What could they have, like, Kamala, just so you know, we're going to ask you ahead of time what you would do about the economy. Like, oh, shit, Trump had no idea. There's probably going to be a couple questions about immigration. Thank God. Oh, the immigration's going to be talked about? Thank God I could prepare ahead of time for this. Holy shit. The border? We're also probably going to hit Trump up on the abortion thing. He'll have no idea that it's coming. Oh, that's so sneaky. He'll never imagine that we're going to get him on abortion. I bet he won't even have a good answer prepared. There's no way that he'll think about abortion coming up. How are lefties that are not voting Dem rationalizing their decision, considering that Trump is clearly trying to position himself as more pro-Israel than Kamala? Sure, there's no justification for not voting Dem now. There is a steel man to it, but I won't do it for these guys because they're retarded. That's it. Given the debate, I've got a real question for you. How do you feel about the geopolitical implications of the revolutionary uprising in Tunisia and how that implicates the United States trade relations? Interested. I'm not. I don't know anything about Tunisia. Other than there's a banger song called A Night in Tunisia. No. Yes. Honestly, a good standard? True it is! I don't like many standards. Man, Tunisia is nice though. Oh, gee, I'm Tunisian too, and the guy we have right now literally did what Trump wanted to do. He did an auto coup and is now a full-on dictator. You should read up on him. Sounds cringe and lame. Please, God, look at this tweet from the squirrel. I don't care about the squirrel anymore. Squirrel is crazy. I'm aware. Yes. Squirrel tweets crazy things. Holy shit. Never mind. I changed my whole opinion. Oh, thank God. I need to just have this, like, on hand.
Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee. But I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience and courage.
Well, I got this far. When I started, I wasn't even a bill. I was just an idea. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, "You're right, there ought to be a law." Then he sat down and wrote me out and introduced me to Congress, and I became a bill. And I'll remain a bill until they decide to make me a law. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I got as far as Capitol Hill. Well, now I'm stuck in committee, and I'll sit here and wait while a few key congressmen discuss and debate whether they should let me be a law. I hope and pray that they will. But today I am still just a bill.
listen to those congressmen arguing. Is all that discussion and debate about you?
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. Most bills never even get this far. I hope they decide to report on me favorably, otherwise I may die.
Die?
Yeah, die in committee. Oh, but it looks like I'm gonna live. Now I go to the House of Representatives and they vote on me.
If they vote yes, what happens?
Then I go to the Senate and the whole thing starts all over again.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And if they vote for me on Capitol Hill, well, then I'm off to the White House where I'll wait in a line with a lot of other bills for the president to sign. And if he signs me, then I'll be along. How I hope and pray that he will. But today I am still just a bill.
Wow. What a process. Here's the college version.
Yes, I'm.
Wait, there's a college version? Wait, what's the difference?
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey.
Oh, is this going to be about how capitalists and rich people actually control the entire government and we have no voice at all because of all the lobbyists?
Tough break, Billy boy, but there's a new way to make laws these days. Alex the name, and you better not have scratched the limo, pal. See, it works like this nowadays. Bunch of corporations get together and get tax write-offs for bankrolling a charity called the American Legislative Exchange Council. Sounds pretty official, huh? Then they schmooze and booze a whole lot of politicians from states all over the country at posh hotels. Corporate bucks also buy scholarships for politicians. If you're a scholar drinking scotch, smoking cigars, and playing golf at a resort. So now there's suddenly one big happy family. The corporations, the lobbyists, the politicians. They all get together far away from your citizens and voters, and the unelected lobbyists secretly vote with the politicians, as equals,
Holy
of course,
shit.
on the things the corporations want to do. Like, get clean air and water rules, raise your credit card rates as high as they want, crush them Democratic unions, make it easier to get away with shooting people, and privatize schools, prisons, bail.
Because when you private things, it's just for profit, and like you make it horrible. I get it.
Immigration and what have you. Hell, they privatized their own mothers. So once the politicians have been wined and dined, a little campaign contribution here, a good time there, the politicians, legislators, head back to their capitals or Congress and fast-track as many of these bills as they can. And here I am, a model ALEC bill, soon to be law. It's a hell of a lot easier and more fun than how you used to do it with all those regular old citizens and meddling media watching your every move. Face it, you're washed up. Corporations have made government of the people obsolete, Bill. It's a thing of the past. What do you have to say for yourself, you old dreamer? Please, help. I gotta stand my ground on you right here.
Fucking epic. Fucking epic. Do you think the stimulus checks are one of the things he's been keeping his supporters around? They saw him hand out money and now feel the president has some sort of wave the wand and make their lives great power ironic? No, I don't think so. I don't think people associate Donald Trump with stimulus that much. Maybe with tax cuts, but... How much stim did Trump even put out? I'm not sure, to be honest. I actually mix up the stimulus that both that Trump and Biden did sometimes. Like the PPP loans came. Those actually came under Trump, didn't they? The American Rescue Plan, I believe, was under Biden. I think Trump didn't Trump do $600 stimulus checks, and then Biden did $1,400 stimulus checks after. Puggy Gup says 2,000 checks from Trump. Were there two different $2,000 checks? I don't remember. Can you explain the difference between policies and executive action, maybe with a tune in the background like the Bill video? Technically, I don't think a policies aren't like real official things. Like a policy is just like what's like kind of a plan or an agenda, I think. But typically, bills are like, I don't know what the limit is on executive power. The executive branch has the ability to do some things all on its own, but typically for major changes, you're waiting for the legislature to pass these things. Typically, yeah. That's the broadest way I can. I'm having trouble understanding some healthcare conventions. Would there be an issue if health insurance only covered large/emergency payments while smaller/routine payments cannot be touched by insurance? I don't understand would there be a problem? I mean, I think depending on your insurance, it already does do that. I don't understand what you're asking. Did you look at Kamala's statement on accepting Cheney's endorsement?
Cheney's endorsement, ma'am. Did Cheney have endorsed me? What do you think?
I'm honored to have their endorsement, and I think that what they both, as leaders who are well respected, are making an important statement that it's okay, and if not important, to put country above party. And I'm honored to have their support, and I think it's an important statement right now. A lot of what I think is happening, and I was just talking with some folks here in Pittsburgh about it, is that people are exhausted about the division and the attempts to kind of divide us as Americans. And them stepping up to make this public statement, I think, is courageous, but also for people like the folks I was just talking with, it really reinforces for them that we love our country and we have more in common than what separates us.
Okay. Why did my rich friend receive those checks, but I didn't? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure the big stimulus that was given out maybe was even too much. I don't know. I haven't done enough digging into it, but I think the huge stimulus that went out was the unemployment insurance. Supposedly, that shit was wild. There were like a decent chunk of people that were making more money with unemployment than they were while they were working. It was like an insane amount of money via unemployment insurance. Just FYI, the earrings that Kamala wore are totally different to the audio earrings people are suggesting she wore. I encourage people to look at the earrings up close. Yeah, I know. We were using, typically what we do is we insert something into our ear and then it stimulates the small bones of the ear, called a codec. What's our strategy for the debate? The unemployment shit was crazy, and the PPP loan essentially was a scam factory. I don't know why we think that. Do we think that? Like, the PPP loan was basically just free money to keep on all of your employees, right? I guess some people abused it. Well, listen, you can sign up for the government. Government gave out money. Fuck it. Hell yeah. That's a nice microphone, but the engravings on it provide no debate advantage whatsoever. True. Does this help with the mic volume issue? Oh yeah, I turned that WebRTC thing up, but you had to restart Chrome for it to take effect, so we'll see what happens. Were there some reports on huge amounts that were misappropriated? I heard there were some people that like flagrantly abused the PPP loans, but I don't know what counts as an abuse, I guess. I'm not sure. Thoughts on 9/11? Pretty bad. Oh, holy shit. Hold on. $5 trillion in relief programs. Inspector General of the U.S. Small Business Admin, $136 billion in fraud from the EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. I don't know what that was. And then $64 billion in fraud from the PPP. What kind of fraud are they talking about? How did some fraudsters spend their stolen money? I don't understand what this means. Like, how they spent the money shouldn't matter, right? Here's the like, let's say you have a business, and let's say that from your business you're making $100,000 a year in profit. Then let's say that next year COVID happens and your business is you're gonna have to fire all your employees. My understanding is you filed for the PPP so that you can continue to pay all of your employees, and then whatever you buy with the ordinary profits of your business isn't, like, you're still allowed to do that unless people were taking PPP loans and firing their employees. Wait, is that what they allege was happening? If that's happening, those people should be. I can't say it on YouTube. Is that what? Because if that's what's happening, that was insane. Or obviously if you're submitting false applications. A lot of people were claiming they had in employees and just keeping the money for themselves. Didn't you have to submit? I feel like I had to submit W-2s from last employee. I guess you could just make it up. It's pretty easy to just make up forms. Or like edit a form and then like add a 0, I guess, and get a ton more money. No? I'm pretty sure you had to, didn't you? I'm almost positive I had to submit W-2s with my PPP thing. It's been a while though, I forgot. My bro is an FBI agent in white-collar crime and has charged a bunch of people PPP fraud, outright lying on papers, people helping them get money that they should. Yeah, that's bad if that's happening, sure. Yeah. Did Kamala perform better than expected? I think she performed pretty well. I think Trump performed much worse than he should have. Trump is like circling the drain on everything. It's insane. Destiny, they had almost no audit on this shit. That's true. The application process for this stuff was incredibly streamlined. Like, I'm pretty sure you could get more. I'm pretty sure, like, I think I applied through Wells Fargo and the money like was direct deposited into my bank. It was the process was very, very, very streamlined, which is good, but then I guess potentially makes it open for more fraud. Although I'm trying to think if this fraud rate, I wonder what rate you expect for fraud. If this fraud rate would be even bad, the absolute value is a lot, but for FP, okay, this is 200 billion in fraud, 300 billion in fraud. I'm guessing all three of these numbers are added. So if it was 5 trillion in relief with 300 billion in fraud, 10% of 5 trillion would be 500 billion. So it would be about 6% was fraudulent. I wonder what the ordinary fraud percentage you would expect. I imagine it should probably be less than 1%. That'd be my guess. Is like 0.1 to 0.5% or something, or 0.1 to 1%. So 5% probably is pretty high, would be my guess. So much for forgiving these loans, LOL. Well, most of them were forgiven, weren't they? The loan on low terms because of the conditions that it would be given to specific areas of their business, then went and bought a car, a little different. If you worked for yourself, i.e. 1099 contractor, you took a PPP loan to pay for yourself, even if your business wasn't affected. All my friends did this, and it was gross. I mean, weren't most people who did work probably affected somewhat by COVID? Like, I don't know. Assuming you were a 1099 worker, you got a PPP loan for yourself, and then you paid yourself, but you continued working. I don't know if they would consider that fraudulent or scammy under this. I'm not sure. I don't know what the like, as long as it was spent on payroll. I don't know. But obviously, if you're lying on any forms, it's... Yeah, but so is the entire country. Why? Because they have a business. Does that let them skip ahead of the financial relief? Well, anybody who's working a job should theoretically be benefiting from the PPP because their employer is getting money to keep them on payroll, right? There was rampant fraud. I knew drug dealers that got these loans. Some did get caught too, but many didn't. I mean, excuse me. You don't think drug dealing is a real job? You don't think drug dealers were impacted by COVID-19? Do you know how hard it is to sell crack when you got a social distance? I'll grab a Red Bull 1 second. I saw heli-contractor colleagues just delay on making bank deposits to appear having slow business and then qualifying for a butt ton of money. Construction was probably the least affected industry. Huh. Hassan fans seem to believe Destiny is botting. Tossing a dental work done recently. This idiot forgot the bots on followers list. They only botted live viewer count. Omega lol. He probably told them to come to Kick on YouTube. Got that 300 followers after he hosted himself. He might have gotten a little more viewers than his average because people came from YouTube. It seems like 100% botted. I would even doubt if he had 20K real viewers. Yeah, one of the reasons why I switched over to Kick is because the ViewBot service that I pay for right now, they don't ViewBot very well on YouTube, but on Kick, the ViewBots, because the authentication that they have on Kick isn't quite as sophisticated as they have on YouTube yet, I can ViewBot my Kick audience way, way, way harder. The thing is that when I go live on Kick, all I'm thinking of is, God, I wish I could have at least a fraction of the viewership that Hassan, I'm sure, authentically gets. And so I'm ViewBotting myself because I feel so insecure about it. All my buddies were in real estate. Real estate was booming during COVID. They were only supposed to apply if they were affected. My buddy got 40K PPP loan and he YOLO'd on crypto. Bazid. Major talking point I'm seeing today is that Trump was fact-checked 5 times and Kamala 0 on things like Project 2025 being Trump's plan, etc. I feel like there's enough to link Trump somewhat to the 2025 stuff. It's also not very... Like, I'm analyzing this like a thinking human being, and I should just be analyzing it like a conservatard. The answer of, I've even read 2025, so I don't even know what's in 2025, so I don't want to be influenced by, like, that's a retarded fuck answer. But also, conservatives are retarded, so that might be good enough. But I would imagine what you would say is, well, 2025 is alleging, like, A, B, and C, and here's ways that I'm against that. I would never do these things, so that's bullshit. But, yeah, I don't know. Your friend is pretty... Oh. How much Red Bull do you drink in a day? Isn't that bad? I usually drink 1 per day. Is it bad? I don't think so. Exceptionally bad. How much caffeine in 12-ounce Red Bull? 102 milligrams. How much caffeine in cup of coffee? Is it like 40, 30? Is it really 95? And 8 ounces of coffee. Okay. Feels like there are better ways to attack Trump. He's directly linked to so much bad shit. Why go for Project 2025, which has a bit of distance? I don't know. I think maybe average voters really like the 2025 line. I don't like it. I think it's cringe and stupid and dumb. But apparently, I mean, they keep hitting on it. So I'm guessing for average voters, maybe it's working. I'm assuming there's some focus group or something. The question is, how much caffeine is unhealthy? I don't know. What's the daily max recommended? Daily max recommended caffeine. Max amount of caffeine that's generally considered safe for most healthy adults is 400 milligrams per day. There you go. 4. So we can drink 4 of these big boys. Do your blood pressure checked while on medication? Yeah, I did, I think a couple months ago. I don't have Discord anymore. How do you not have Discord anymore, Wes? If you heard about Schedule F, the EO that he passed in 2020 didn't implement, I think it's the biggest thing. I feel like I did hear about this, and I looked this up. That would have stripped protections from civil servants perceived as disloyal to the president and encouraged expressions of allegiance to the president when hiring. I think I heard about this, but I don't know if it was implemented or whatever. Has your Vyvanse dose leveled off? Have you noticed a decrease in effect that others report after a few months? I don't get high at all anymore. It just helps with focus. I feel like when people report like lowered effectiveness, I feel like they're thinking of the high that they got, but I could be wrong. I don't want to speak for everybody.